Hello. So I can tell that. Oh, okay. I see like a like. Ruben. Ruben is here. Hi, Ruben. Um, so today I kind of wanted to just like either do a question and answer. So like if y'all have any questions in terms of UAG or in terms of like, perfect, you have questions. Yeah, just write them down and I can just go and talk about it. And give you just my opinion about what I think is right. I'm not like an expert, but I think I have enough like background knowledge to just like answer whatever comes to mind. So if y'all can just type it down. As you do that, I'll tell y'all that I just finished my test. Well, I finished at it was like an hour 40, so at 10:40. All right. Daily, weekly schedule, study resources, habits, routines, lectures, are they recorded, group work, problem case based learning, any advice for incoming Jan? Okay. Oh, no worries. I got you. Okay, so basically, wait, are you starting Ruben in January? Also, sorry if you told me via email. Hi, Fresia. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Okay. Oh, okay, cool. Congrats, Ruben. All right. So right now, because we're doing online, everything is through Microsoft Teams. So we use Microsoft Teams instead of uh, like Zoom or Skype or something like that. So Microsoft Teams, they have a streaming service. So every time that we meet in for class, the professor sends out like a notification to for us to join. So it automatically syncs up into our calendars, into our Outlook calendars. So everything is Microsoft. So email is Outlook, Stream is on Microsoft, and then when we join the class after it's done, when the professor finishes with their lecture, it automatically gets uploaded into the streaming service. So if you want, you can go immediately after class and listen to the class again. However, I've noticed that sometimes some students say like, oh, like one person is still in class because they forgot to log out or something. And then they're like, please log out before, because otherwise it doesn't upload. I think it does upload. But I don't know. I don't go immediately after class because I'm usually need a break. So yes, it is recorded and it goes there. In terms of group work, yeah, there's group work. Not as often, but we usually have something called flipped classes. So flipped classes, it's kind of new in the U.S. as well. It's honestly like a good, statistically like better for us students to learn. So the way it usually works, I don't know if y'all have had that, but basically like you do your own learning the day before or like the week before, but I do it the day before, right? So they tell you like, for example, we're gonna learn about like atherosclerosis, and then you're like, what is atherosclerosis, right? So you learn about it. They either send you something to read, or you just like go to the chapter that talks about the subject. It depends. Or they send you like a PDF that you just read about it. So then you go to class the next day, ready for, depending on the professor that you get, ready for like a little like quiz, either verbally, they'll just call you out randomly if they call you, or they do like a quiz via Kahoot or via Mis Cursos, which is the portal that UAG has. And then that's where the group work comes in, because during flip classes, you're expected to already know a little bit or the material, and then you have to apply it. So they usually give you like a research paper, and then they give you like 6 questions, and it's a group work assignment. So you work with groups to finish those 6 questions. Honestly, it was a little stressful during my first block because they expected us to do the flipped assignments like in an hour and a half, or like 3 hours. But regardless, it's hard. Or it was hard for me and it was super stressful. But usually we got it done. So the way that I was working with my like colleagues, it's basically they through WhatsApp. So like we just like made groups with like individual groups, like chats within WhatsApp. So we just kept communication there. I mean, the professors made a Teams, a mini group for like the groups that we were assigned to. But honestly, we don't really like use that. And then in terms of the assignment, we just like download it, and you can use Microsoft Word. So they, since everything is Microsoft related, then you have access to Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, all for free with the like 365 like online version. And then I think you can also download it into your computer. But yeah, so you just do that, and then you can copy. The way that I do it is I copy, I create a link so you can share it, and then you send it to your people, and then you just work on it. It's kind of like Google, where you can like share and multiple people are on it at the same time. Microsoft has the same thing, and I use that instead of Drive or like Google Docs because it keeps the format. But honestly, people copy and paste, and you can alter the format, so up to you. Um, Sorry, I kind of elaborated. And then in terms of group work and stuff like that, um, the way that it works is the whole class. I think my class is like 200 and something people, but the whole class is divided into little groups. So I'm in group. Oh damn. Oops, excuse me. D, I think. Yeah, I'm in group D. So, anyways, that's like 38 people, and that's where they break it up into little groups for the flipped assignments. And then within that small group called Group B for me, it the professor that I got, they teach me the clinical side. So for like the abdomen stuff, or like the how to use the stethoscope, like stuff like that is within the smaller group, in order for it to be better for like question and answer kind of thing. Whereas like the regular lectures are like what everybody joins in at the same time, like 200 some people. Let me know if like that sparks any questions. If not, I'm gonna move on into my daily, weekly schedule. The brutal honesty of my weekly schedule. So basically, my classes now are usually like 7 or 8 a.m. If I'm lucky, I get one at 9 a.m. on my time. I'm in California, so it's 2 hours ahead of Guadalajara. So, so yeah. So I usually wake up maybe like, depending on how tired I am. So usually, if I'm really, really tired and I'm just like trying to maximize my sleep, I wake up like 30 minutes before class, and then I just like quickly brush my teeth. Texas, yeah, brush my teeth, and then like I make my coffee and wash my face, and then I'm like ready to go to class. I like set it up, you know. But what I do in order for me to wake up is I kind of review the PDFs that they sent out. So if we're learning about something, I like to kind of go in knowing like what is going to be talked about, right? So so yeah, so that's in terms of my morning. And then my classes are usually 2 to 3 hours, and then after that I have like maybe like an hour break where I eat, relax, do mini chores, and then after that I just study. The way that I like to do is I review the material again after class. So if I have two classes, I try to finish that all before 8, but I never do. And then the reason why it takes me so long is because I try to understand the material. So if the professor does like 5 bullet points, I look into the bullet points and I'm like, okay, what does this word mean? And I'm like, English. Okay, Google this. All right. And then I'm like, oh, okay, this is why it makes sense. But then once it's something a little bit harder, I'm like, okay, look, go into the book if I need to understand. I use Boards and Beyond. So Boards and Beyond videos. I use YouTube videos. I use AK lectures. I use Ninja Nerd. I use Armando Hasuragan. I use uh, Kaplan. No, not Kaplan. Khan Academy. They have a Khan Academy medicine section, so I use those. But honestly, I use up whatever is available. So I usually look up the word or the concept that I don't understand within that slide, and then it kind of brings it in. And I'm just like a visual auditory learner. So yeah, um, that's kind of what I do. I hope that helps. And yeah, Frank and Ruben from Texas. Yeah, I have a friend in Texas. It's kind of weird how I like I like, cuz it's all people coming from all over. Supposedly like my like roommate, I guess, that's going my roommate that will be, I guess, is she's from New Jersey. So like there's people coming from all over. Do I use Anki? Oh, all right. Anki. I started Anki strong because I was like, all right, I've seen these videos, I'm ready. But the thing is that UAG, they don't have like the students within like our previous years, they didn't make an Anki deck. So I think that's like the main thing that happened, that like why I'm not using it anymore, because it takes a lot of time to create Anki cards on my own, especially for first block. There's not a lot of let's say for Boards and Beyond, a lot of videos on it, because Boards and Beyond is very much like 4 step, and then for the first block you learn a lot of like uh, basic material, I would say, like things that are not really tested um on step. So then I was like, okay, let me look up the few that are like in Zonky, for example. Um, Zonky has like first aid material, sketchy, pathology, stuff like that, and that's like more for step. And for first block, it's not really like um, that useful. Like, yeah, of course you'll find cards, like a couple of them, right? But the test, when you go in to take the test, they really, really focus on their own slides. So it's kind of like, yeah, you can use Zonky to learn and understand the material and to just like refresh your memory if the cards are there. But if they're not there, then you have to make them your own. And then up to you if you want to do that. It helped me during my first block. I think during my first 2 tests, I made cards, but it was so hard to review them, which is like, hello, space repetition, like I didn't have time. So like I felt like I was wasting time, but the process of me making cards in like a question format helped me out for the first two tests. So I was like, sure, like I'll continue. But after a while, I think I moved more from Zonky and Anki in general and more into like just like understanding the material on my own and like making notes on either this like on Word or just like on paper. So yeah, try it out. I feel like my number one advice for like medical school in general is that you have to be adaptable. Like you have to be ready to change. So right now, if you don't know what Zonky is, if you don't know what Anki is, look into it because you have time, right? You're not gonna want to be like learning what Anki is and learning if it's good for you during the time that you're supposed to be learning. Because the thing is that there's no time extra, if you want to like, well, I don't know, I mean, unless you like understand things like that, right? But for me, like, it takes me time to understand the material. And so I feel like if I would have had to learn Donkey, because people are telling me like, oh, Zonky, blah, 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 then I'll be like super stressed out. And then it took me like a whole day to like figure out how to download the program and like do the certain like add-ons that they have and stuff like that, and look at the videos that are out there. So if you don't know about it, I recommend, yeah, because for me, like I'm thinking about it now, like now that I'm going more into like material that is like for step, aka Zonky, and those like Anki cards are going to be useful, then yeah, I might like transition into and check it out, like casual, for me to do that. So I totally think you should learn it. Um, but be adaptable. So if you don't use it, then you don't use it, and that's okay. Maybe you'll use it next block. Changing your study habits is like key. I think like as soon as you see that you're not like doing well in one strategy, flip it. Do I take notes during lecture? Yeah. So I have this book. Let me see if I have it over here. I was supposed to make a YouTube video about it, but life, guys, life happened. It's backwards probably. The Med School Survival Kit. I read this like the week before school, and it's very small in my post-its because I want to go back to it. And it basically talks about how to study. And so I took um, a lot of what I do from this book, And so the main thing that they say here, and not just here, in other like students, because there's auto medical students out there talking and having their platforms, the number one thing that they say is that they recommend you to preview the material. So if you know what's going to be on the lecture, then just like preview it. Either what I do is I read through the PDF if available that the professors give out or that it's like shared within the group, um, or slash and I watch a video about it. So I quickly, like if I'm learning about like genetics and I'm like, okay, we're going to learn about DNA replication because that's going to be part of your first block. They're like, I know replication, right? So let me just like quickly look it up. So I look DNA replication on YouTube, AK lectures, bam. I'm hearing that either the night before or the morning before, the morning before. And I'm just like refreshing my mind so that when I go into class, I'm not like totally lost and I can like adapt to new information. And then in terms of if you see that it's very word heavy, the PDF, then I recommend you to read it. Just like glance, like get the concepts, right? Because you don't want to be reading during class and then also like writing notes, you know? Up to you though. Up to you. It's some for some classes it's possible, but for some others, I'm just like I feel lost because you're saying something different. But some professors do read from the lecture, so that kind of helps. Pros and cons out there. So what I do during lecture to answer that question is that yeah, I take notes because one, it keeps me alert because the classes are in the morning. So it keeps me on it. So I'm like writing notes, what they say or what they highlight, they're like, this is important. Or if they say something and I don't quite understand it, I still write it. But then I put a question mark because I either will return to it by listening to the stream or I will like look further into it or something that was said it didn't make sense to me. I'm just like, oh, maybe I'm missing some information, So yes, lectures during class. They have a question answer section at the end. Some students ask during the lecture, so up to you. Um, but yeah, so you can do that. Ask good questions if you have them, and and then after class, I review it again. So that's like my third time seeing it, right? I review everything again, and that's usually it. And then once I go to the test, I review it again. And what actually has been working out for me is that because I understood it after the class. When I'm doing it, I'm reviewing it for the test. It like all comes back into me, and then if I have time, I go one more time, and then I just go like, I kind of like just read it, and I'm like, yep, okay, I get it. Yep, I get it. Like, oh, I know what this is talking about. Okay, yes, yes, yes. Like, but if I don't, then I'm like, oh no, okay, let me. What does this slide say? Does that make sense? So that's kind of what this talks about. This book also talks about the step one, what it is, how to prepare for it, step two, and I think step three. I don't remember. But anyways, this book it's like $10, y'all. So yeah, recommend. And then in terms of aside first aid and lecture notes, is there books that we will need? So no, because actually all of the books that they will use, they provide. So the way that it works is in the beginning of school, they give you like a syllabus. And within that syllabus, at the end of the syllabus, it gives you a link to all of the books that you need. And they use Clinical Key, which is basically like just like an access to lots of books available and lots of like papers, kind of like how schools do. Then they give you access to like PubMed, etc., like that, but for books. So you don't need to buy any books at all. So you can download the PDF version of the book on that website. So it's cool. So you don't always have to do it through the internet. Um, do I use the library books? Well, that is the library books, I guess, because those are the books that are being given. I hope that makes sense. I'm gonna go back to the Ruben questions since I think I answered all of them. If not, just write them again. Problem-based case learning. Yeah, a lot of well, I think what you mean by that is like they give you clinical scenarios. I Right? So they do give us clinical scenarios. Um, a lot of the flip classes are clinical scenarios because they just give you like a lot of information, and then they kind of like help, like you kind of get to it to understand what's happening. Um, so that is problem case. I don't know if you can elaborate on that. I don't know if I answered your question. And then advice for incoming January. Advice, basically, my advice is to come ready to, I guess, like, I don't know, like to be like in it, you know? Like, I feel like there's not a lot of time to do other things. I mean, yeah, of course I'm like finding time to do YouTube, right? But like besides that, besides like the time, like I feel like, man, school, like med school, it's just like a lot of information. So each like PowerPoint that we get, if it's a small one, it's like 35 slides. If it's a big one, it's like 80. So I feel like a lot of our time is into these like um into school. So like try to not like, I don't know, like go ham, like go hard, like you got this. Like if you just like study the material on the slides, focus on the slides, then you'll do well on the test. But for you to do well for step, like you need to understand it, right? So don't cheat yourself in like, oh, I'll just like memorize. It's a lot of memorization if you just memorize. You have to understand it. So I think that's like my best thing. Oh, also some people use osmosis. They have a service. Free trial, I think for 7 days or something like that. So look into those videos because they're cute and they're nice and they help you look. But I didn't get it because I think I heard a lot more about boards videos, which are not as pretty. They're just like blank PDFs and then you just like see what they write. But I like it because at least I feel secure because they go based off what's on first aid, right? Versus osmosis, they have more material, which might be from the class. So pros and cons here, but I just didn't get it. But maybe you do. And then some other people are get like short lectorio. Again, I didn't. I There's some free lectorio on YouTube, so look into it and see if you like their way of explaining things. I personally didn't, so I was like, nope, I'm good with boards. Um, how do I use boards and beyond? Also, thank you, Mark. First A, y'all. Y'all don't even know. That was so great. How do you use boards and beyond? Do I watch all the videos or do you pick anything you need help with? So, because it's a paid service, I always want to you read like see everything at least once, right? Boards and Beyond, they give you PDFs, so you can download them. Um, like before you watch the video or whatever. So what I've been doing is I follow along, and what really helped me out this time is for me to write on the side of it. And like if you can, right, like if you have a tablet, then you can do that. But if not, what I did prior to me like this this like exam, I just like followed along with the PDF because it helps me to like, if the video is moving forward but the PDF is right here, like, and it's a new concept, I just listen to it. Does that make sense? I just like read into like what's behind what was prior, so I can expand on it. So I do watch them and then I try. So I need to get better, but I try to do the questions that they have at the end of every video. I'm going to try. This is me talking to myself. I need to try to do them during the time that I'm understanding it. So as soon as I finish the material in class and I'm learning the material from Boards and Beyond, do the questions then, because I like tell myself that I'm going to do it at the end preparing for the test, but I never do. So, and I think that's a waste of money and a waste of time, and like I don't like that. But I do want to use the questions, and the questions are very much like step. And the questions from the test, they try to make them like steps. So they try to do like a clinical scenario. So if you're learning about genetics, they like give you a whole paragraph and then about like how the patient is doing or whatever. But then you find like the key words, so that's what I do. I just like read everything, and then I'm like, oh, it says like protease, and I'm like, oh, that's a genetics term. Okay, maybe like it's gonna be for the question. Then you read at the end, and it's like, oh, like because it's like what enzyme referring to protease, like what is the function of it, or something like that. Or maybe it's like, um, because because of the enzyme, and you need to relate that they were talking about the protease, like what can happen to this person, or like whatever, but stuff that you are like supposed to know. Does that make sense? Like they're not going to go like super hard, right? um so yeah. But there was videos that of Words and Beyond that I didn't use for this block, so I feel kind of guilty. So I try to do a balance. Like if I don't understand anything at all, like right after class when I'm understanding it, that's when I do Boards and Beyond, YouTube, whatever. Um, but then, for example, if I already understand the concept with like other videos than from like YouTube or something, then I don't go into the Boards and Beyond one, because time is valuable. So I try to like, I told myself to go back to it, but I didn't. So because it was lower priority, I guess like you have to prioritize what is right for you, and like prioritize like what you understand, um, versus like finishing everything. Does that make sense? Like you first. It says Carl. Hi, Carl. Hi. I'm planning into enrolling into UEG in a few years, and I was wondering how much is tuition per semester? Is it cheaper for Mexican students citizens? Okay, so UAG, they have a national program. So the program that I'm in, it's international, which means that like the classes are in English, and they have I guess like the way that everything looks, like the curriculum is different. They kind of make it like a systems based. So right now in my block I am doing cardiology, and I just did my exam on whatever, the lungs, right? And so um what that means is that I learned the embryology about the lungs. I learned the histology, okay, like the cells, like how do they look like for the lungs. I learned diseases for the lungs, and then which is pathology, and then I also learned physiology, which is how it works for the lungs. So that's what it means to be systems based, and that's how the international program works. However, there is a different way, and that's like the newer way of medical schools to work. So that's why I was honestly like very impressed with UAG, and I was like, yes, let's go there. But the national program, they use their classes are in Spanish, probably cheaper. I'm not sure how much the national program is. Their classes are in Spanish, and their way of teaching is different because they do, for example, all of histology at once, all of embryology at once, all of anatomy, or something like that. Like it's more like that, and that is used too in the U.S. in certain schools. It just depends on which school that you look into. For the UAG international program, the tuition is like 14,000 for per semester. So in total, it's like 28,000. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't fix my laptop, y'all. I'm sorry. So I'm so that video, I think I'm just gonna redo it. I don't know. It just like that. Literally, that would have answered your question because it's a loans question, and basically, for your like how to like how much money to ask for the loan. Um, are you leaving the stream on the channel? Yeah, I since this is my first stream, I think I'm just going to once it ends, I think it uploads. But I'm not sure. So I want to, and that's the plan. And any tips for anyone who is taking courses online and stays at home with some distractions? Oh my God. Um, Earplugs. I would say earplugs. I don't know, depending if you have like your own space, like your own room. Make like for you to be like what helps me is like to have my own little like corner, where I have like all of my school stuff in one spot. And then in terms of distractions, like if you have your own like room, that'd be great, and you can just put like a post-it or like a paper, because of COVID, I think people have become like a little bit more like funny about it, but they're like, don't come in, or like, and just talk to your family, talk to your whoever you're living with, and just say like, hey, like, you know what, I'm gonna be starting school soon, and it requires a lot of my time and my attention. So if can you please like follow this, you know? Because sometimes people like, I don't know, at least for me, like my family, like they like mean well, but they like do like try to like talk to me, and I can't help it but to like talk back, you know, because you just want to be part of it. So yeah, if you create boundaries, I think that would really help. Um, Try that out. What's the chance of matching into the U.S. residency? So it depends. It honestly depends on the specialty. So I want to go into internal medicine. So I think it's like better chances. Like I don't want to say that it's impossible, you know, for let's say like people who want to go into surgery, but I do think that going into an international program for you for like medical school, it does create like like there is a stigma for us, unfortunately. So what that means is that when you apply for residencies, um, and they see that you are like from UAG or you know or a Caribbean school, like anywhere international, and so they kind of like don't know if you're up to the standards of the US schools. They don't know if you know. So what they will base it off of is step exams. Step one has been changed to be pass no pass. So I think what's going to happen now is they're going to prioritize step two scores. So your our step scores for whatever residencies we want. If if the steps had to be like I don't know the grading system. I'm sorry, I forgot. Let's say it was like 250. Like if that's what most internal medicine people have to get, then it has to be higher because we have to be like better, even though it's for the same specialty, same test. Like because that's just the way it is, you know. However, I don't want you that to discourage you. In one of my videos, in the description, I wrote a link for like to get statistics of like how many percentages like of per specialty. So if you look into that, I think that will give you. So I don't have the exact number, but what I did learn from that was that in California and in New York, there is a higher number of like being acceptances for international students. So for US international medical graduates, we are it's like slowly the stigma is like decreasing, or maybe they just like they like accept more students, but statistically speaking, they are accepting more students than other like places. I read somewhere that it was modeled after a medical school in Cali, the UAG program. Um, Maybe it seems like it honestly because yeah, a lot of the schools in California and the US are system based, and they're actually transitioning into the system based learning. So yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. But that kind of triggers me to think about something. UAG, they have a somewhat of a connection with Harvard Medical School. So the way that it works is that they Harvard has a program called HMX, and that is like an online courses, and I think there's about 8 of them, and each program is about I think $800. So it's like each course, right? And because of their connection, they made it so that UAG students can get those courses for free. So what I'm doing, and for all of y'all starting in January, that opportunity should be available to you soon. They'll email you, so be on it. So they'll email you and they'll tell you like, hey, there's an opportunity. What happens is you take this class at the same time. And so for my first block, I took one for genetics because we were learning genetics. So the UAG recommends you to take the course that you're going to kind of like be learning. That way, it's not too much material on top of, right? It's kind of like at the same time. And so what happens is you get a certificate at the end. So you get a certificate of completion, or you can get a certificate of achievement, depending on how you do. So if you get either of those are good because what's it called? When you apply to residencies, you can put them in your application. So I'm currently in I already did my HMX genetics, and I'm doing right now my HMX um, physiology. So it's great. So maybe they based it off of Harvard. I don't know how their school is. I don't know. But yeah, so system based is Zoom. They have two international programs, one for American and another for the rest of the countries, and they use the same program for the national students. Okay, so yeah, I'll take your word for it because I'm honestly I didn't like look that much into it. I just knew that it was international. How's life in Mexico? Hi Hillary. I'm not in Mexico actually. Sorry, I never did like a part two for my apartment thing. It was such a journey. So basically, I was told because it was in the middle of like whether or not we were going to go to Mexico because of COVID. And it turned out that we were not going to go. So I had to pause everything. And thankfully, my realtor was really nice and she's keeping my money because I paid for deposit and for the first month of rent. And so she's keeping it and she's going to apply it for my new location, and hopefully I don't know, hopefully it applies in January if we go. I mean, she seems nice, but I don't know if we're starting in January, so hopefully she's really nice and holds it for the next year. If not, I think it was like $600 or something like that, which is a lot, you know, but it is what it is. It was things that it was out of my control, so I'm not in Mexico. But when you do go to Mexico, look for schools that are next to not the main campus, but the I forgot already because sorry, it's in my apartments video because that's what like the first thing that y'all should highlight. Close to campus, the place that I found was literally across the street, diagonally 2 minute walk, and that's what you want because to me like I need to maximize my studying time. I don't want to be 30-minute walking or like catching an Uber or whatever. But that's just me, you know. That's just how I work. So yeah. Do you think that your decision to go to UEG was the best? I think it was the best for me. Yeah. So what I mean by that is that I guess I never really like talked about my background. ICB, yes, that's the location that you need to look into to be close to because that's where your school literally is going to be, like your class is going to be. Um, for me, my background is that I tried to get into US schools. I applied twice. So I did the application system like twice, and that didn't work out for me, unfortunately. And I took the MCAT 3 times, and here we are. So it basically ended up being between Caribbean schools and UAG. And I'm very grateful that I found UAG because I feel like I'm getting what I need to get, like the information, because all of their books, like that they recommend, if you go to, let's say, like since I'm watching first Boards and Beyond, like it's it says it there. They're like, okay, go to Constanzo Physiology, and I'm like, oh my god, thankfully, like that's the book that my book, like they're recommending. That's my lectures, you know. So I think I'm getting what I need to get in terms of like from UAG. So I think I'll be ready for like step and stuff. So I'm yeah, and then it's cheaper, way cheaper than Caribbean schools. So I think I mean by that I mean that it's like I think like 100K I think for at the end of 4 years versus like at the end of Caribbean it'll be like 300K plus interest. And 100K ish is like what you get or like what you are expected to pay for US schools. So am I plan? Oh, you're planning to go, Carl, into pediatrics, and you'll check that link out. Yeah, check it out. It really like helped. And then there's programs out there. I think in that video as well, I mentioned like a website that I found that I have to go back into when I'm applying into residencies, and they help you out to see like what residencies are, like your chances of getting into that location, because there is a growing number of Caribbean students and like international students. There's a service now that helps you apply and helps you see like where you should go. Like, do they even accept uh, international medical students as like a like for a potential resident? Um, How is the attention of the professor? Their attention? What do you mean by that? And the administration of UAG. All right. So for in terms of the administration, um, I don't really have connection or like I don't really talk to them. They did like we did a 1 hour orientation, and that's when I saw like a couple of faces that seemed official, and then that's it. So yeah, I'm not really sure about that. In terms of the professors, they seem nice. They talk uh like they care, like when they explain things, and like sometimes they ask like really like dumb questions. They answer dumb questions, and to me, I'm like, wow, like you're so nice. Uh, so yeah, why do you want to do internal medicine? Oh, I want to do internal medicine because I am very like how can I say this? Like I really value preventative like stuff. So like preventative medicine. So I believe like Western medicine right now is very focused on like fixing the problem. Whereas I feel like if we had a better public health system and better like preventative measures, that'd be great. So I feel like internal medicine does that very well. And not only that, of course, I don't know. I'm not like for in terms because the difference between family medicine and internal medicine is mostly like I won't see kids. It's mostly adults. I don't know. I don't want to. That mean. But internal medicine has a lot of great like subspecialties, I guess. So you can do like fellowships in different uh, areas. And so, for example, for me, I am interested in gastroenterology. And so, in order to be a gastroenterologist, you basically have to be an internal medicine resident first. So, if you go to the ACP, American College of Physicians, I believe, internal medicine, they have like a whole website explaining like what it is, what subspecialties there are, and stuff like that. And so yeah, like it sounds really cool. I feel like it's a good specialty in order to like branch out into whatever else you like if you want to subspecialize. So that's for me. And well, I don't know. Like it's good for like I feel like it's real. It's like it's a good realistic. I'm not selling myself short, but like I feel like like I am going into U.S. like international. I do like preventative stuff. Like it all makes sense to me. But who knows? Like they say that you go into medical school open minded. You have to go open minded to other specialties because like the more you know about like a certain like system, the more like you might like want to specialize into it. And I don't know much, so to me I'm like general. Yeah. All right. And those are rookie numbers. I've taken the version of the MCAT since 2001. Damn, respect, man. MCAT is like it's tough. It's brutal. But I heard that new applicants for UAG don't have to take the MCAT because of COVID. So I know someone who graduated from UAG last year and got into plastic surgery. Yes. Yeah, don't sell yourself short. To me, I just feel like the surgery route is like not like what I want with my life because you have to also take into consideration like how their life is. And I kind of picture myself into like working in a clinic, working in a hospital, or having my own clinic. I'm very like into politics, so like who knows? Like what if I go into like the political side? Like I just want everything to be more open, and I feel like with internal medicine I can kind of like go into places. And yeah, the like I did a mentor video, like how to get a mentor, because I was freaking out because I was like is it even possible to get into into like work in Cali? And yeah, there's this I found a doctor who has like his own practice, and I forgot what he is. I think he's OBGYN. And he was like, yeah, like UEG was the best thing I could do because he started right after undergrad. He's like, nope, one and done. Like went to Mexico, and at that point for him, it was I think it was 5 years when UAG was doing 5 years, and he said that it went great. That if you go into your rotations, and the rotation that he went into, because I think back then they only did like one place. That's the place that he got into for residency. And that, honestly, like, that's all I needed to hear, because I was like, all right, then I'm gonna do well my first 2 years because of step, and then I'm gonna do well on rotations, choose my locations correctly, and get in. So, like, it's not impossible. Like, I feel like it is going to be a little bit harder, and yeah, like, there's probably like a different like scores that you have to make and whatever, but it's not impossible. Like, once you're in this school, like you'll get there. You just have to keep at it. But thanks for sharing that, Frank. Like, yeah, like, it's it's nice to hear. um First year biochem undergrad. Do you have any advice for when applying classes or studying? Advice for applying. I don't know. I feel like when you apply, they give you the answer really, like, something that I didn't know is that they give you the answer really quickly. It's not like the U.S. application system where it takes like a year. Well, yeah, basically, to like get your answer right, because you apply like July, and then like in January, February, and then you start that year. It's not like that. It's like 2 weeks. And so to me, it's like that. So like, if you want to go, and you apply before you get into your interview, like, they are asking you for that non-refundable 1,600. And then if you don't get in, then like, then they give it back. But like, I don't know. I feel like you'll. I don't know how their acceptance rate is, but I feel like you'll get in, right? Like, depending, like, I don't know. I don't know. I want to say that you'll get in. So I feel like if you want to go to UAG, apply because you know you want to go, you know? Because otherwise it's like, save that money. You had a pulse, you got in. Yeah, that's how I felt. Because legit, my stats were not the best, honestly. So I had like undergrad, I had a 2.7. And then I did a post-bac program, which is like 1 year for me, and I took graduate level courses, and I got a 3.7. And then for my MCAT, I took it 3 times, so my best was like 505, or 504, I don't remember. But yeah, like, if I got in, I feel like you can too. Um, so yeah, in terms of advice for classes or studying, Carl, it depends on your professor, but do practice problems because they help for the test. And I think, just try to understand the material is like my number one advice from here on out. YouTube everything, because the reading takes me forever. Don't hate me if you're a reader. And um, that's it, I guess. Just review, 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 like, as much as you can. It sounds really bad, but like, practice questions. That's my advice for MCAT. Practice tests if you can. So yeah, you had interviews, but only waitlist. Yeah, man. I thought I was gonna get into UCR because I applied early. I had my stats. I like, um I don't know what made me, like, they gave me their secondaries, like, which was like the first time that I got a secondary from them. And so I was like, they want me. They have the same philosophy as me. They're all for helping the community. And I was like, it's gonna happen. But then COVID happened, and then I was like, I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but everything just like burned. But it's fine. Like, I'm where I'm supposed to be, and I feel like I'm gonna become a doctor, which is great. It's honestly really surreal, y'all. Like, when I'm studying and I'm like not wanting to study, I think I'm grateful, and I'm just like, wow, like, I'm gonna become a doctor. Like, you're studying things that you weren't studying before. Like, you wanted to go to school, you've been like trying to like become a better applicant, when you're finally here. So yeah, do that. Yeah, UAG is 4 years, 2 years of like basic material, and then 2 more years at the end, third and fourth year of rotation. So you go to different hospitals. they have affiliations with hospitals in like California, I think like one in Oakland, and then like Arizona, Nevada, I think, and New York, Puerto Rico. There's they have rotations there. So yeah, there it's all good, honestly. It's like ready to go. Uh, no te cae el 20. Ooh, I don't know what that means. Sorry. Oh, like 2020, like this year is not good. Is that what you're talking about? Oh my God, you're located in Oakland. You never know. I know this is a funny question, but is there any extracurricular activities for online med school? I heard that it's good to get into AMSA or not. Okay, yeah, no, it. So I joined the international like ACP thing and ACP organization from my school, and so what they do is they usually do in person like clinical stuff that's like related. I think like next week they have a meeting on Teams about like mental health and stuff like that. So and then they've been having meetings on like what is COVID. It's really cool by like doctors that they have there. Unfortunately, I haven't been going just because I feel like I'm always stressed. Like I'm always like, no, I can use this to study, like, and I just don't go. But yeah, you can join some orgs, which is like that one. I think there's also AMSA. I don't know about NASA. So you can do that as your extracurricular, and then my other extracurricular is the HMX thing for for the certificates. And then right now, I'm actually I was thinking about it this morning. I'm gonna email the year coordinator to ask her what I could do for winter. Like, is there something I should be doing? Because you know. Also, for STEP for UAG, they don't give you a set schedule for like in US schools they give you what's it called, they give you like at least like 2 months or something for you to just study, like no classes, just study. They don't do that, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I don't know if it's worth taking off a semester, because I've heard that some people do that, or if I could do it during the summer. Like that's why I feel like it's so important for you to understand it from here day one, well day two, because orientation is like nothing, but day two you're studying. Um, so I hope that answers. How's there any time for extracurriculars? Yeah, like I don't know. Like it's honestly very impressive when you hear like, oh, researcher. Like if you've done research on your own, like before, then I think you can easily go into like different like places, and you just say like, hey, can I present a poster, and you just make a poster for them based off of the research that you've done. Then I think that would be like an easy way for you to get like that extracurricular time. But I don't have any research material, so I can't do that. But if you do it. Do it. I recommend it. Um, so yeah, and that's true. Like I don't really have time, so that's why I'm thinking like during my winter break, during summer, like in like yeah, I don't know. I'll let y'all know if like whatever I end up doing, because I needs to be good. Need to beef up my residency app. It must be an RGB thing. Thank you. It still hasn't hit me that I'm going to be starting in school in a few weeks. Yes, you're gonna be a physician. Props. Honestly, I'm rooting for everyone here. Like whether you're starting like in January or for later, like that's honestly why I started this channel, because like we need more doctors, more good doctors out there. And I feel like, and by that I mean like people who are like pro like community helping. I don't know. All doctors are good, like that's what I mean. And we can do it. We can strive. We can do this. We got this. And I still don't know what RGB is. Sorry. Dead. Don't kill me, Ruben. All right. Is there any last questions? Rio Grande Valley. Yep. I thought it was like game related. I don't know why. Like video game related. So I'm glad I asked. Is there any other like questions? Because I think we're hitting the 1 hour mark. As my finishing remarks go, I just want to say thank you for joining me for my first like YouTube live, let me know. Actually, let me do a last minute question. Like, did y'all like this? Like, do you want me to do more YouTube lives, or should I just like stick to my videos? Should oh another question that I had for y'all was like, y'all want to see what I do like on the weekly? Because some medical students do like week in medical school. Like, do y'all want to see that? Like for me, my amazing life in front of the screen, literally. But I mean, I can talk about what I'm learning, stuff like that. I can make it fun. Aw, thank you for my 100 subscribers. Yes, honestly, when I was at 99, I was like, what? This is happening. And then, I hit it, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna do a YouTube live. And then I was like, when? I'm in the middle of stress, and that's why today's my free day because tomorrow I start. What do I start? Kidney. I think kidney anatomy and embryology is my class tomorrow. So I have my free hours. And then after that, I might like look at a video or see if there's a PDF available to start it all over. Keep it with the live. All right. Okay, we'll do. Yeah. You're very welcome, Ruben. Yeah, I honestly that's why I started like because I was in the search for info and from like real talk info, not just like the like everything's great. And yeah, I'm glad that it's helping y'all. Yay, you're welcome, Hillary. Alrighty then. It seems like there's no questions. So thank you for joining me. Have a good rest of your day and week. And I'm gonna try to fix my laptop today because it's my free day. And hopefully I'll upload that loan video. And if not, I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to like do another one. All right, y'all. Take care. Please be safe. Wear your masks. It's not political. It's science, y'all. We believe in science. Let's do this. Thank you. Thank you, Fresia. I'm gonna need it. Bye. Have a good day.